Okay, it's been a little while, been more than a week actually. I've been out of action because I had a couple of teeth pulled and ended up with an infection, so I've been on painkillers and all sorts of shit for the last week. I come out here today to have a look at this. I bought some quick exhausts, but they don't work. I'll explain that why. I've hardened this. I have got a video. I think it's probably already up, or it'll go up before this comment. But anyway, I've tried to test this again. I worked out what I've done wrong is I've got the wrong valve. That's a four-way. Three-way. Sorry, three-way two-position valve. Now what I need is a five-way because I need the exhausts. I need two exhaust ports. So I've ordered one. It's on its way, but I can't get this to work. Even with the angle on here and with it hardened, it won't cut. So I'm going to wait until the valve comes in, pull this apart, start cutting some more stuff up, redesign it. So that'll be rebuilt. But what I'm going to do, what I've got up here, I have sort of cleaned up in here this morning. Because of this, it's too slow. I worked out that even wound up full speed, it's too slow. So what I've done, I've got to take all this off. Now I've got to get these bastards off because I've Loctite them in. So I'm going to have to heat them up. But in the interim, what I've done is I've ordered some bearings, some housings, some chain, and two sprockets. I've got that's not a sprocket, that's a bearing. Where's the other sprocket? There it is. So that's a 9 tooth. It's 18 tooth, so I'm going to overdrive it. So I'll put the 18 tooth on the drive motor, and I'm going to mount it back here with a chain drive. And because this still managed to move when I welded it, even though it's not pulled in there straight. So I've had to, it wobbles. It's trying to twist from side to side. So rather than weld anything, I've bought some steel there. That's for the shaft. That's 20mm. I've got it turned down to fit through the 19mm housings or 19mm bearings, and turn the ends down to say 16mm. And then I'm going to use, I brought some 25mm bright. I'm going to make collars, and I'm going to use pins. I think they're in that bag there. I've got some 6mm roll pins that I'm going to use to drive it. So that'll take any of that wobble out of this here where it's welded. I bought another bolt. That's another one right there. So I'll machine that down as well and roll pin each end. Or even if I put the screws here and use a roll pin that in, and it'll be the same with the drives. So I'll machine those out to 16. That's only 22mm, so I'll 16mm, and then drill a 6mm hole through it for the pin. Same with that one. I'll do that. That one can be 3/4 or 19mm. Sorry, not talking in bananas here. So that way that'll double the speed of that. So when I tested it, it was too slow, way too slow. I know I stopped the video and said hang on a sec, and I fiddled and tinkered and it just wasn't happening. And I don't like the way that's wobbling, that's flexing that whole thing. So, you know, that's only a brass gear, it's going to put way too much pressure on that. So that's when I decided to redo it. I can still use this here. I'll make that so that the bearing goes on that with the sprocket on the end of it, and I've just got to work out how I'm going to do this one. I may have to get another bearing. I might have to pack it out. Anyway, I'll work it out. I've got a bit more steel. I'll have to move this back, put the drive on it, and run it so that will drop it down. I think about maybe lowering it, putting it down lower rather than moving it to the back, because it's going to make life difficult for me if I've got to pull my centre and my tailstock out. As it is, I've got to cut that off. So I might drop it down lower and drive upwards. So that won't be any problem either. Because once I can turn this on and just let that run. And all I'll do is just operate it here. So, anyway, let me play with that. I'm going to get rid of that off down now. I want to get this sorted. I'm going to finish this lathe off before I do anything else. I've ordered a 5-way control valve, so I've just got to wait for it to arrive. But in the meantime, I'm going to finish this drive off and install the coolant. So I'll do that on another video. I'm not sure what video I'm going to put this one on, either on this or that. Maybe even both. So I do apologise for the long wait. As I say, it's been a bad week. And I've been spending most of my time stoned off me gourd on painkillers. So anyway, stay tuned and I'll bring you back shortly. Righto, I've been playing. And there's the drive to the leads for that screw. That collar will slide backwards and forwards. So I've got to put roll pins. I think I've gone overboard though. I'm going to have to go and get some smaller ones. They're 6mm. But I want something that'll give way, like if something goes wrong, and through that, if you look at that, there's 6. I might go and get some, I know they've got 4mm, so I might go and get some 4mm roll pins. So, stick that back in the box. So that will move around on there. So, and that's just, they're all nice fit. They're all just a nice slide fit. So I've got nothing under pressure. So when I draw it and put a roll pin, I'm going to put a roll pin through there, one through there, one through there. And then I've still got to work out the drive here. I'm going to put one through this sprocket. I might leave the 6mm for that, because I've got to bring that out to 3/4, which I'm going to do. I might do that before I pack up for the day. Knock that out to 3/4 of an inch. It was 19mm, sorry. It is 19mm bar I've got, not 3/4. And get that ready. So tomorrow when I come out, I've got to doctor this because I can't. I've got to weld a bit on the bottom, so I might even put the bearing housing that way, so I can drill there and down there. So I'm going to weld a bit on here, and then work out how I'm going to mount the drive, because it's going to have to be mounted out. Yeah, I'll have to think about that, because it's going to have to. I'm going to put this on first. I'll just cut a piece. I've got bits floating around here. Weld it on. Measure up the mount for the. I can even space the drive out and put the bearing on the backing plate here to secure it, and then have the sprocket inboard of the bearing, and then have the drive out here. So that'll work too. But I'll do that tomorrow. I wasn't even going to do this much today, but I thought I want to get this machined up, get that out of the road. So that's done. I was going to record it, but I just really couldn't be bothered. And that's looks like it's loose, but it's nice, just a nice fit, which is fine. If I'm going to use a roll pin to secure it, I'm not going to use grub screws, because that's likely to pull it off centre anyway. So it's just a matter of re-drilling that hole up the top there, adding something to the bottom, cutting that off the back. But I've just got to make sure I haven't got too much weight swinging that way, so I may have to I might put a bracket down the back there, just so it'll hold that, like hold the weight on that up against the back of the lathe. They might even drill and tap a hole in that as well and bolt it there. So that'll work. It will work. I'm going to make it work for the money I've spent on this now. I've spent nearly $800 on it. In the drives, that transformer, sprockets, bearings, housings, steel, yeah, nuts, bolts, chain, all that shit. So I'm going to make it work. So it will work. It's just a matter of doing it the right way. It's got to. It was working before. It's just that when even running it flat out, the feed wasn't really fast enough to do cross feed. So 2 to 1, I'm going to double it so I can halve what I had on the dial. So, and there's more than enough power in those units. They're incredibly strong. So to feed that screw, like what you lose in mechanical advantage from some overdriving it, you're going to gain again on your screw. So you gain all your mechanical advantage back from that. So I think that's going to work. I'm kind of keen to make it happen. And worst case scenario is I'll run it just with that in neutral. So that'll spin. So if something should go wrong here, I can take the chain off and just use that feed. So stick with me. I know I've been slack lately. I haven't put much up. Like I said, I've had a week where I've been off my gourd on painkillers, and my mouth's still not real crash hot. So all this talking is not helping it any. Plus, today I've been fighting anxiety all day. I don't know what's setting it off. Something's setting off my anxiety today, and I find a good part of it having trouble breathing and concentrating. So you're not going to have to forgive me. Like I said, I know I'm shitty ass content and I can't help it. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. I'm just doing the best that I can under the circumstances I'm dealing with. So thanks for hanging around. Like I said, I was going to drill this today, but fuck it, I'm going to leave it till tomorrow here. I've got to get some video off this camera. I've got a heap on here that I've got to get off and start compiling. So including for the copper stomper, that's going to be redesigned now. I've ordered a new control valve for it, and once I've finished this lathe, I'm going to finish this first. I'm going to finish that drive. I should get it finished tomorrow, and hopefully I'll get the coolant on, and then I'll be full steam into Dion's copper. Well, it's not a stomper anymore, it'll be copper cutter. So thanks for being around anyway, and until next time, stay safe. Peace.